dear friends, click on the like button, that is the thumbs up button, press the subscribe button and the bell icon, and don't forget to follow me on Instagram.
Hi guys, and welcome to another vlog. That's 175 kilometers per hour on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, and this mirror seemed to have moved in the process. Anyways, this is the Harley-Davidson Street Bob. It's a bobber style motorcycle which competes with the Triumph Bonneville Bobber. Now this motorcycle, well, there's a lot to talk about this machine because a lot has changed from the previous model. So this is the 2018 model. Now let me quickly explain to you what exactly Harley-Davidson has in its lineup. So Harley-Davidson has basically 5 types of motorcycles. There's the Street, which has the 750, Street 750 and the Street Rod. Then they have the Sportster, the Softail, the Touring and the CVO. Now the interesting thing is that the Softail has 8 models, but right now only 4 are sold in India, and the Street Bob is the entry level among them. It does 100 kilometers per hour in second gear itself, and the punch from this motor is like real. It accelerates so hard and fast. Wow, this is how cruiser motorcycles should be. They shouldn't be slow like elephants. They should not vibrate a lot, but they should offer a lot of performance, and this motorcycle does just that. So basically the 2018 Softail lineup, well, it gets a new engine, and it's called the Milwaukee 807 cubic inch, which translates into 1745cc, which produces 144 Newton meters of torque. Now Harley-Davidson never ever talks about power, it only talks about torque. Now this 144 Newton meters of torque comes in at just 3000 rpm. Any gear, even if you're in a higher gear, just open the throttle and this bike just moves ahead like this. Superb. I mean, the torque rush is really insane. Now what Harley has done is really worked on this motor in terms of heat management and the vibrations, so it doesn't vibrate like other so-called cruiser motorcycles which can't really cruise. This one can. It doesn't vibrate so much. Yes, there are vibrations. I can feel on the foot pegs, I can feel on the handlebars, but they are much more bearable. The older Harleys had a ton of vibrations just like Royal Enfield, but this one has it very well contained, and that's thanks to a lot of changes which Harley has done. So for starters, this one gets dual counterbalancers, and that has definitely helped curb the vibrations. And because the vibrations were reduced due to the counterbalancers, Harley hasn't rubber mounted this engine, so the engine is a stressed member of the chassis. Now the good part is that the cooling has been really worked upon. So this is an air cooled engine with oil cooling, and the oil cooler really helps. Now there's an oil cooler even for the exhaust valves, and this motorcycle doesn't really heat that much. And the biggest advantage of this motorcycle not heating is the fact that Harley-Davidson can increase the compression ratio. So they have really increased the compression ratio of this motorcycle, and thanks to that, this bike really revs pretty fast. I mean, right now I have not even looked at the digital tachometer, but it pulls. It really pulls. Insane. This engine has a fantastic low end and mid range. Now I'm in third gear, 100 kilometers per hour. Pull. Here we go. Third gear, 143 kilometers per hour. 5600 rpm is where the red line is. So this engine will not rev more than 5600 rpm, and it doesn't need to because there's nothing in the top end. Everything is in the bottom end and the mid range, and it really gives you an exciting rush. I mean, it's not like, oh my god, I'm so scared wala power. It is like, yeah, I am there. You want me to go, I will go. I will not let you down. The gearbox now is a 6-speed unit. It is quite slick shifting, and I'm so surprised riding a Harley-Davidson bike because this one is just terrific. Chumma, chumma de de. Did you guys see that? These couples ahead were kissing, and I think I got it on camera. Anyways, let's test how much it can do maximum in each gear. Now we are in first, so let's go in first. First 74 into second 107. This mirror is so loose, and it's also because of the vibration, but trust me, older Harleys had so much more vibrations. This one is like very refined, and the foot pegs, they are not very front set, which is a good thing, so you're not uncomfortable on this motorcycle. And the gearbox, it's fun and easy to go through the gears. I kind of enjoy it. I like the sound of this engine. When you rev it, it kind of, you know, produces a typical Harley snarl, the potato sound, what they like to call. Nice punch. Horn could have been better, but the pull from the motor, just fabulous. So basically what they have done is, with the Softail range, they have come up with a few things. Firstly, they have come up with a new engine and also a chassis. Now this is a modular platform. So what the modular platform actually does is, see, shifting to neutral is such a breeze on a Harley-Davidson motorcycle. Never ever experienced that before. So what this modular platform actually does is, so you can turn off the indicator by pressing this button. So the modular platform, what it does is, basically it can be used across the Softail lineup, other than the Fat Boy, which has inverted forks up front. Others have telescopic forks. Meanwhile, the steering head angle can be tweaked according to the requirement, and also the swing arm, which can be made wider depending on how wide a tire you want to put. So it's time to launch yet again. Now I'm in first gear. The clutch isn't very light, it is on the heavier side. I cannot feel much heating. Yes, it is heating, but not much. Idling at 850 RPM. Here we go. Kilometers per hour, I think, happens around 4.5 seconds, and this bike keeps pulling, and it is such a fun handler. I mean, going through corners, I can't believe I'm riding a Harley bike and I'm not shit scared while turning at like 120, 130 kilometers per hour through a sweeper. That's the kind of confidence this motorcycle inspires, and that's thanks to the new chassis setup, which is 65% stiffer than before, and they've also dropped weight. So this is like 8 kgs lighter, the chassis alone, and the overall weight saving is around 17 kg. Now obviously what Harley has done is made a lot of changes to the chassis setup. To start off with, the suspension, well, it comes from Showa. Now the front gets dual bending valve technology. The rear is again a Showa monoshock. The monoshock is hidden, so in order to give it the hardtail look. Meanwhile, हाथी क्या हार्ली डेविडसन एवरेज 20 The हाथी encounter had to happen if you're on a Harley Davidson, and the first question was mileage कितना देती है? हाँ, ऑन रोड इसका प्राइस है 15 लाख. Here we go. Woo! I am going crazy. Anyways, here we go. Power! And it gives me the power. I love this motorcycle. First time I'm loving a Harley Davidson. 143 in third. And I kind of did 175 there on the long stretch. So this one will outrun a KTM Duke 390 in a drag race. But for the price, you can get 7 KTM Duke 390s. There's just too much wind blast to actually ride it fast. It's pointless to actually ride it fast. Just too much wind blast. What's up? It's best riding it at 100, 120, enjoying the feeling and the noise from the motor. But hey, let's just give it the beans, shall we? And it just gathers pace. Whatever gear, it just gathers pace. 160 kilometers per hour, no fuss at all. 170, 176. And I'm sure the whole camera is vibrating because I can completely feel the vibrations. It does vibrate a lot in the top end. It's not meant to go in the top end. Anyways, I was talking about the chassis setup. So basically they dropped 18 kgs of weight on this motorcycle, and they've just made it a better handler. Now the front tire is slim at 100, and the rear is a 150. Now front uses a 19-inch, rear uses a 16-inch, and the overall ride and handling of this bike has much improved from its predecessor. Certainly it's a very fun motorcycle to ride. It is peppy. It turns into corners with reasonable confidence. Of course, when I'm talking about all this, it is bike cruiser standards. Don't compare it to sports bikes because it is not meant to be a sport bike. In fact, Harley was so impressed with the handling of this bike, they actually had to move the gearbox a little up. And why did they do that? Well, the only reason to do that was to increase the cornering clearance. In fact, if you ride it hard and fast, you might just scrape the pegs of this motorcycle. So we are ready to launch. And this mirror is not going to support me, so I'm going to put in a position where it will turn and look at me only. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, go. On a Harley motorcycle. I know I can say it's fast, but trust me, I've done faster speeds on the Street 750, but Street 750 inspires no confidence. This one thankfully does inspire a lot of confidence, and this is a 6-speed gearbox. Harley used to offer a 5-speed gearbox, and the oil cooling really helps this motorcycle. The oil cooler works quite well, and this guy is constantly breaking signals. I don't know what is wrong with him. So the mileage of this motorcycle is between 15 to 20 kilometers per liter, depends on how you ride. And if you ride like me, then don't expect any mileage. Love the sound, love the fact it goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in around 4.5 seconds. Love the fact that it does 100 kilometers per hour in second itself. I love the handling on this motorcycle. Ride quality is good. It's not great. It kind of feels a little lumpy, definitely, but there are some vibrations in the top end. That all is fine, but this is by far the best Harley motorcycle I've ridden. I am supremely impressed. The handling is spot on. The seat height at 675 mm is kind of less, but you get used to it, and the way these handlebars are placed, well, I must tell you, it's a kind of weird setup for the handlebar, because of which I am exercising a lot of effort to pilot this motorcycle, but these handlebars help you maneuver very well, and that's a positive thing. Meanwhile, the brakes on this motorcycle are good. It gets ABS, but they haven't been improved over the previous model. However, there are two things to say about this. Firstly, the fact is that Harley-Davidson has improved the suspension on this bike, so obviously braking improves with that as well. And they have also thankfully improved other aspects of this motorcycle, which has led to better braking. 1 second, I'll come to that. I'm just so into the motorcycle's engine right now. I just want to rev it. Here we go. I am probably the only person who ducks down on a Harley-Davidson to get more speed, but yeah, that's me. What a lovely bike. So yeah, I was talking about the brakes. Well, the brakes have improved because the weight has reduced, firstly. Other than the weight reducing, the fact is that the better suspension also aids in braking. And overall, this motorcycle's performance is just spot on. Lovely motorcycle. This tank is 14.1 liters. And like I told you, the mileage being 16 to 20 kilometers per liter. So you can get a range of almost 350 kilometers on this motorcycle. Fit finish is very nice. The exhaust notes sound nice. And this Softail, which is the entry-level Softail, the Street Bob, it kind of seems value for money now. Now the price is 14.6 lakhs, which might sound expensive, but you do get your money's worth because there's a lot of swag with this bike. Trust me, a lot of swag. Fast neutral, so sorry for that. So much wind. Obviously this isn't made for high speeds, but still the performance is commendable, simply commendable. Indicator, so the indicators are placed on either side, so for right it's here, for left it's here. The gearbox, although is nice, you can feel every gear you shift, so every time you shift they're like dhug dhug dhug, and that's kind of fine. But getting into neutral, well, I'm quite impressed. It gets in easily. So this is for the telltale lights, and I'm going to talk about that in a bit. No, I'm not going for a knee down. look at me, I have come into 6th gear for the first time and just open throttle, cruises effortlessly, potato. So there's no gear position indicator. Let me put the side stand down, and this is the console, all digital unit. There's a tachometer now, it's coming to reserve, it's showing how many kilometers it will get empty, and all I have to do is press this upper button to go through it. So that's the RPM right now. This is the total kilometers done, that's the odometer. This is the trip meter, they are twin trip meters, and this is for the reserve, how much distance to empty basically. This is the fuel meter, this is the speedometer. Telltale lights are over here, low fuel warning is on. This is for the high beam and the low beam, basically if you want to switch from high beam to low beam. For the indicators, this is the hazard light switch. This is to turn on the motorcycle, this is to kill it, turn it off, and right now it is on the stand. Meanwhile, there's something which I don't like about this motorcycle, which is this. I mean, why doesn't it have a holder for it? Someone has to hold it in the hand. Turn this off. Mirrors give an adequate view of what's behind. Levers are good, nicely sealed master cylinder, and this is the motorcycle. You can see it is a proper Harley-Davidson bobber. They've hidden the rear monoshock over there, it cannot be seen. It gets twin pipes. It's a V-twin motor, and V-twin motors are known to vibrate a lot, but this one, thanks to Harley working on stuff, it kind of does a very good job, I would say. Now this one gets Dunlop tires, spoke wheels, very nice looking, no pillion seat, so you arrive alone in Yamaha style. It's a belt drive, not a chain drive, so you don't have to go and fill oil on your chain, or oil your chain actually. And the tank looks super sexy. There's so much attention to detail on this bike. This seat is supremely comfortable, absolutely lovely, and it gets fork gaiters at the front, very purposeful, all LED headlight. You can see Harley-Davidson logo inside it. In fact, let me turn this on and show it to you. You can see powerful headlight. So this is on low beam, this is on high beam. It gets this DRL ring there. Now many of you might be wondering ki boss, chabi kidhar hai? Where do you put the key to turn on this motorcycle? How do you ride this motorcycle without a key? Well, it has got keyless go. I kid you not, this motorcycle has got keyless go. Yes, Harley-Davidson has really upgraded itself, and this is the key. So it's in my pocket, it will detect it, and all I have to do is press this, it will start. Same way I can just lock the handlebar by, you know, turning it like this and pressing this button. So to turn on the motorcycle, the key is in your pocket, just press this button, there it turns on. And let me just rev this machine for you, but let me first show you the motor. I mean, look at the bike, the kind of attention to detail, lovely. Fit finish is excellent, and honestly I would say that Harley-Davidson was almost similar to Royal Enfield in terms of quality and in terms of vibrations, but they've really outdone themselves. Fantastic. I never liked any Harley bike, I've ridden a lot of them, but this one I really love, and I'm going to ride the Fat Boy really soon. So it says 107 because that's the displacement of this engine, 107 cubic inch, which translates to 1745 cc. What a lovely motorcycle, and I'm sure all of you want to hear the exhaust note, so here we go. You can see the RPM. A big thumbs up. At 14.6 lakhs it might be expensive. You might want to get a Triumph bobber, but this one, well, it has a character which I don't think many motorcycles have. And if you want a fun motorcycle with performance, occasional highway performance, occasionally you want to feel the torque rush but want to cruise in comfort and have the Harley-Davidson swag, this motorcycle is definitely worth considering. So guys, this is my video of the Harley-Davidson Street Bob, and if you liked it, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up, that's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.